Good evening. This is Dutch from the Blind Stick, and we're going to try to do another cooking video. In this particular case, we're going to cook 2 Cornish Game Hens. We're going to stuff them. So we're using Mrs. Covington's stuffing mix. I've already got it in a bowl. We've cut up onions, celery, and mushrooms. And we're going to put those in here as part of the mix. Some of you may know and some of you may not know. I'm blind. I'm legally blind. I am suffering from macular degeneration, and that's how this video and other videos similar to it. I'm going to put in some broth. When I first started going blind, I couldn't find any help. I had to figure it out all by myself. It was really difficult, believe me. All of a sudden I went from being fully functional to being, in essence, a cripple. It's a long story, and I'll tell it in another version. But right now, suffice to say that I'm doing my best to become independent. That's Veronica, by the way.
Hi.
What I was told to do was stay away from the stove and the oven. I couldn't see to either one of them, plus the fact that I could set myself on fire. I'm finding ways to cook without using the stove and the oven. In this particular case, we're going to be using air fryer, which has no live parts. Right now, I'm mixing up the stuffing. I want to stuff these birds. They're beautiful birds. We got 2 of them. So I'll give you more backstory. I kept calling around and calling around and calling around, and I found the Braille Institute in Elliott, and they were really helpful. They sent me what's called bump dots, which are a way of putting little lifted bumps on things like microwave and stuff like that, so I could gauge where I'm at. And then one day, I decided I was having enough trouble getting around that I needed a blind stick, a stick that blind people carry, white and red on the end. I called up the Braille Institute and asked them if they had them. And they said, yeah, we got them. They're $50 a piece. And we recommend that you have 2 of them. So I was pretty stiff right then. So I said, okay, I'll call you back. The guy I had talked to called me back. He said to me, he says, are you a veteran? And I said, yeah, I am. And he said, well, why are you calling me? Why don't you get your blind stick from VA? They'll give it to you. I thought that was a good idea. So I got a number for him. He told me who to call. And lo and behold, I ran into more than I thought I would. So I ran into a lady who was a gatekeeper, is what they called her. She asked me a lot of questions, and I answered a lot of questions. And it was really interesting. She was a nice lady, and she talked to me. And finally, she said, well, we have a program called the BRC, and you probably qualify for it. Are you interested? And I said, yes, of course I am. Well, what is it? And they told me that, it would be a program where they would teach me how to use my cane and how to use a walker, how to get around and do stuff like that. That interested me right away. Okay, and now I'm getting the chickens. And I said, well, what do I have to do to get into it? He said, well, you're qualified. That's not a problem, but we have to have an opening for you. So when would you be available? And I said, I can go now. And I was actually very, very serious. He said, okay, are you really serious? And I said, yes, of course. We're going to use this here pan. It's a 9x9 cake pan that fits in the air fryer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it so the birds don't stick. And I have this wonderful spray. Spray it liberally because you don't want your birds sticky. Okay, now comes the reveal. Here comes the birds. Aren't they beautiful? I'm going to stuff them. I got a call the day before Christmas and said, when could you be ready to go to the BRC? And I said, I can go right now. And she said, are you serious? And I said, yes. She said, okay, I will call you back. Didn't think too much of it. Christmas came and went. The day after Christmas, I got a call from Liz, who was the gatekeeper for the BRC. She said, can you go now? And I said, yeah, I can. She said, okay, you're scheduled for January something or other. But it wasn't very far away. It did give me enough time to pack, but not much more. And so I went to an 8-week course and I had classes every day. And I had this one lady who was in charge of teaching me mobility. And she was the bane of my existence. She was not tolerant. She ran me up and down the halls of the hospital, and I had to get myself back. He took me outside the hospital, which, in the yards, the courtyards and things like that. Well, that was pretty scary because, now I didn't have places to sit down and things to do like that. I've now stuffed the birds and I put them in the pan. I'm going to season them. We put in a little bit of olive oil, onion powder, garlic powder, some rosemary, and some pepper. And I'm going to spread this all over these birds. This should help crisp it up and flavor it. I'm putting the birds in here belly up. Then after that, after I kept finding my way back, she took me out on the streets. We would go to a neighborhood and she'd get me out of the car and we'd walk. Also, I learned to operate a computer. They gave me some specialized machines that I had to learn to operate, and I would take a Tai Chi class for balance. So I'm going to do the chickens all by themselves. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we turn them on, and then I'm going to go away for an hour, because that's what it's going to take. 375 for 45 minutes. Thank you for listening, and we will appreciate it. If you have any comments, leave a comment below. Thank you. These are the chickens after we took them out of the air fryer. We just took them out of the pans they were in. The reason we're showing them here is because we still have more to do, but I want you to see what they look like when they came out. Pan drippings are being made into gravy. So we're going to stop here and we'll go to the next thing. Okay, so this is the final product. This is what we put together. Let's get ready to serve. We got peas with sour cream, we got mashed potatoes, and then we have gravy listed here. So everything is there. We're going to serve it up on the table, and bon appetit. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it.